Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we are reviewing a new wave of figures and accessories from the Next 17. This is wave 6 from the Next 17 and it includes a Rebel ground crew figure with some crates and other accessories. We have Muftak from the Cantina, and we also have a reworking of Herm Dazon as a new figure called Darth Vennik. They all look pretty cool, so let's take a closer look at them and see what they're like. So let's start with the Rebel ground crew member, which is an all new figure, an all new sculpt from the Next 17, designed to look like a vintage Kenner figure. As you can see, it's got 5 points of articulation, so we can rotate the head, we can rotate the arms, and we can also rotate the legs. He comes with one little accessory, which is this little blaster, and as you can see, it would fit in really nicely with your vintage Kenner action figures. There's a nice amount of detail going on. We've got some nice sculpting on the front. I really do like these sort of fabric folds up and down the arms and the legs, and the pocket details on the legs. You can see on his arms there that we have also the Rebel insignia, and then his face is also pretty detailed and well painted. This is just a really nice figure, and I'm sure one that many people will want, because everybody wants to army build and set up little dioramas, and there are so many figures that we just never got from the original Kenner line. And I think this is one of those figures that just lots of people will want, because you can easily now set up your Yavin base or the ceremony at the end of Star Wars, have them all lined up. I think it will look pretty cool. There are a few other accessories that you could get to go with your Rebel ground crew member. First up, we have these crates, which I've shown previously in a blue version, which were for the Imperial scanning crew, but now they have done them in this sort of beigey brown. You can take the lids off as well, so you can actually store things inside them, but they're ideal again for diorama building. There's nothing quite like having crates and things piled up in the background to fill out a scene. We also have this little radio device which fits snugly into the figure's hands. I think you actually do see this in Star Wars a few times, just people sort of scanning things in the background. This would also work particularly well if you're doing a sort of a Hoth scene. So yeah, a nice little accessory to have. But as well as this figure and the accessories, you can also get this, which is a cardboard build your own Rebel ground crew vehicle, and it looks like a really fun, nicely designed things. Comes on 2 sheets of cardboard with a set of instructions, and I've yet to build it, so I think that's the next thing I want to do in this video. Let's get cutting this out. I think you've got to cut it out with a scalpel, and then there's a little bit of gluing and sticking to do, and we can see what this looks like. But from the pictures I've seen, it looks really pretty cool, and if you watch my channel regularly, you know that I like building things. So let's get cutting and building and see what this looks like. And here we go, here is the ground crew vehicle all made. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes to put it all together, because there's a fair amount of cutting. You do need a sharp scalpel, and then there's a little bit of gluing to get it all stuck together, and the end result looks really pretty nice. I'm going to say this is not for play, this is for display only, because it is only made out of cardboard and it is fairly fragile, but as you can see, for a diorama piece it does look really nice. So it's a nice little addition and a great thing that the Next 17 are offering. Next up we have a repaint of a previous figure from the Next 17, and this is a repaint of Hemdazon. He is now called Darth Vennik, and this is based on some fan fiction. He comes with this nice little card which has loads of information about the figure. You can see it's double-sided, it has a bit of information on the front and then a whole backstory on the other side. The figure itself is really nice. I've previously reviewed the Hemdazon figure, so it's basically the same figure with a repaint. He now comes with a black lightsaber and this red cape. Lots of detail going on with the sculpting on this. Again, 5 points of articulation, so we can rotate his head, we can rotate his arms, and we can rotate his legs. A cool little figure if you like this sort of expanded universe type things that go on in Star Wars, and a nice addition if you want to pad out your cantina. And finally we come on to Muftak or Muftac or whatever you call him. I find it quite hard to pronounce some of these more obscure Star Wars names. This is someone that you would have seen in the cantina on Mos Eisley, and he is an all-new figure from the Next 17. He's a rather strange looking guy, looks a little bit like he should live on an ice planet, but a very cool figure indeed. He comes with this rather large weapon and only 4 points of articulation on him because his head is moulded into his body, so we can rotate his arms up and down. As you can see, we can rotate his legs, and they sort of rotate around a bit like some of the Ewoks' legs, and he is just a very cool looking figure. The sculpt is really nice. You've got a nice lot of detail going on to show all of the fur over his body. He has a rather strange face with 4 sets of eyes and a little sort of mouthpiece that sort of drops down, but a very intriguing figure, and certainly one that will look very nice in your cantina setups. Now there are actually 2 versions of this figure available. The basic version comes with this black weapon, and there is a slightly sort of modified version which is called Thal'or, who comes with this card. As you can see, has lots of information on it, and he comes with a grey version of the weapon and a blue lightsaber. So there's a slight sort of variation on the figures you can get. Let me swap that over so you can see what he should look like. So we put the lightsaber in that hand and the grey weapon in there, and there you go. You can see we now have the Thal'or figure as you see on this card. It is a really nice figure. It's got a fair amount of weight to it, and it does fit very nicely with the vintage Kenner figures, and it would have been great if Kenner produced something like this back in the day. A lot of these sort of more odd background characters are what people like to collect, and I think this one is a real nice addition to the series, and something I'm very pleased that the Next 17 has got round to producing. And there we go, that is it for my review of these new figures from the Next 17. Each figure you get comes with this cool backing card, which enables you to know which figures you have got to get and which ones are still to come in the line, so make sure to always check that out. If you want to get some of these figures for yourself, then head on over to the Next 17's website. I will put a link to that in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it and want to help me out here at toy-polloi, then why not think about becoming a Patreon of the channel. You get early access to all of my restoration videos, plus access to an exclusive video series called On the Cutting Mat. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.